And a pleasant good morning, everybody. We welcome you to downtown Oklahoma City in a familiar place. We are inside Paycom Center as we officially cut the ribbon on the 2024-2025 Oklahoma City Thunder basketball season. It is season number 17 here in OKC, and we are at Media Day. We welcome you inside, as we said, inside Paycom Center. The offseason is officially over. The draft, free agency, summer league, all in the rearview mirror, and that means we can start focusing on the regular season. All the stations are all set to go. The players are going to be coming through, and in normal Media Day fashion, we're going to have as many players as we possibly can coming to our Thunder Lounge, where I am joined by all the familiar faces, the familiar names, and familiar voices. Welcome inside, everybody. I'm Chris Fisher, joined by former NBA rebounding champ. I'm sure that he's got a jersey under that polo shirt. He'd love to be coming out as a player. But my main man, Michael Cage. Mike, happy Thunder Media Day. Good to see you again, my man.
Thank you, Chris, and it's good to be here.
Good to be here. Royce Young, you've seen him on the pregame show. You've seen him at halftime, postgame show. We'll be in that role again. Welcome back.
Thank you, Chris. Good to be here. I'm excited for a 17th Media Day. That is crazy.
So you've been to all of them?
Pretty much, yep.
That's actually a pretty remarkable feat.
See, I was about to say this is my 10th, but okay, he said 17. Never mind.
You can't top that here, Mike.
Move on to Mr. Matt Pinto,
We're the
please.
vets.
Yeah,
please. Who's this guy across from us? Let's just skip.
Pinto's even more veteran than I am.
Pinto, number 17 for you, Matt. Well, we got to give a formal introduction here. Matt Pinto, radio voice, Oklahoma City Thunder. Good to see you again, and it is number 17 for you as well.
Yeah, great to be here, and it's remarkable that it's been 17 years. Royce and I, like in a blink, it's going on, and here we are, and really excited about this iteration of this team and to get this thing going.
And so I guess that's a good launching pad into what we can talk about as we have the next 2 hours, and we're going to be getting as many players as we possibly can, normal Media Day fashion. Last year, when we came into this, it was a lot of uncertainty still, really young team. A lot of those same principles from last year kind of apply to this year. The hard work, the humility, the expectation through experiences. But for you guys, I know that you've thought about this all off season. You're looking forward to this coming season. Mike, we'll start with you. What stands out, and what are you looking forward to seeing from this Thunder team coming into 24-25?
Well, Chris, Matt, Royce, most of all, the roster is still intact. There's been some great additions, but I think the core group of guys, roster's intact, and then getting the valuable experience of the playoffs, going through a grinding season. Still a young team, still one of the youngest teams in the association, just making a little noise, and then along the way, finding out what each guy can do and then do more and add to it. I think we saw that last year. I mean, you can run down that whole roster and say that, man, you know, this guy most improved, this guy most improved. It just keeps going. And, you know, there was really one of those kind of seasons where I think everyone benefited from it, and you don't usually get that kind of season this young. I mean, I played 15 years in the league. I never got the memo to year 10. So some of these guys got it in year 1, 2, 3. Chet, of course, year 1. He and Cason Wallace. So I think that was really moving forward, some really positive things to bring back into this year.
So much positive to build off of, and I think that's something that we've seen from this team over the last couple of years as they continue to take the leaps forward. They're going to have steps back over the course of the regular season. That's part of growth. That's part of development. But as they continue to build on what they've built over the last couple of years, can they continue to take those steps forward?
Yeah, here's the thing that is really exciting to me. This team never buys into any narrative outside its locker room. So it's an adventure. And they begin the adventure here tomorrow with the first day of training camp, and they will define what they're about. The identity will be a bit different with Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein jumping in. We know that. But the continuity, Michael, you talked about, to me, is probably the most exciting aspect to see what went on this offseason. How did these guys improve themselves? How did they come together off the court in terms of whatever went on during the course of the offseason? We'll begin to see that very shortly. And Royce, I think when we look at last season, it's an understanding internally that that was a great season.
Yep.
There were a lot of positives. There were a lot of things that saw the ceiling for these guys elevate. They're excited about the work they put in, but it's brand new now. It's a blank slate.
Absolutely. It's funny, you know, when Isaiah Hartenstein got introduced, Matt, he was asked kind of about that sort of thing. And even just a brand new player, I think, had an idea and an understanding of what he's stepping into in Oklahoma City and just the mentality that the team has. We heard so much about the 0-0 mindset throughout the course of last season. Well, guess what? The record resets to 0-0 too. The scoreboard does every single game. Now the record does. So, there's so much, like Mike was talking about, so much incredible experience that you can gain and package together both through the regular season and through the playoffs that can really kind of burst your momentum into this year. But you have to start over. And we know the Western Conference is a monster. It's going to be difficult. Every night is going to be a challenge. There's a bunch of good Eastern Conference teams. So even with the experience that this team brings in, you got to start it over. You got to build that, kind of rebuild that chemistry. And this team does have that advantage of having the continuity to bring into this year.
I thought there was an interesting comment from Sam Presti specifically about that, Royce, and in playing in the Western Conference, that when you're playing Denver 4 times a year, you're playing these good teams like Minnesota 4 times a year, you're playing good teams in the Western Conference night in and night out, that helps you grow and develop at maybe a faster pace than you normally would, just because we've seen how deep the West is year after year. It was deep again last year. It's going to be deep again this coming year. But playing these tough teams on a nightly basis, that's done something for this young team over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think that the schedule itself hardens them. It has them in scenarios where they're put up against adverse circumstances, which Mark Daigneault talks all the time, Michael, about. You can't contrive those. You can't, in a gym in practice, simulate those. You've got to go through those. And this team has been willing to confront that fire and learn about itself along the way. That will continue this season, no question.
Well, I think that, Mark Daigneault did a great job of orchestrating that type of ideology that resonated throughout the team, and getting everybody to buy into that, young players, is really difficult. So when you talk about the continuity, you talk about the baptism by fire, they did it. I mean, they did it in a really tough division. They became a divisional champion. They had the top seed in the West. So they did a lot of things that probably people said they didn't think they could do. But I don't even think that was really a focus for them. They played basketball. They had a really solid brand that they put out there, and they put it out there every night. And that's difficult to guard when you got everybody buying into the system. And I'm going to bring that back to Coach of the Year. The reigning Coach of the Year, Mark Daigneault, did a great job of just keeping everybody focused throughout the season, because sometimes, there's always the social part of the game saying, you can be more, you could do this, you should be the MVP. They didn't really think about any of those accolades. They just went to work, put in the work, and they got the results, probably surprisingly more than what anybody ever thought they would get.
Mike, it's one of those things too. Sam talked about in his preseason availability about just kind of the concept of, there are rules in sports, and the Thunder are kind of one of the exceptions in a lot of ways, at least wants to be, in terms of breaking down those barriers or those traditional elements of, you've got to be a veteran team to do this. Well, last year they were the exception in a lot of ways. Youngest team to ever win playoff series, youngest team to ever be the #1 seed, like you were talking about. But again, they're still a young team. They're still trying to be that exception. So, that youth and inexperience, it showed itself at times last year, but I think it was also an advantage and a competitive advantage. Players are starting to, we're hearing the burst of some fog machines going off behind us.
That's going to catch us
Yeah,
off
it kind of
guard.
surprised me for a second there.
Even the second one still caught me off guard.
It's like Halloween, it's like that big
Total pro powering through the first one, but the second one got me.
Bring some over here every time a player comes in, just like blow a little bit of smoke.
What I love, though, about where this team focuses is there's kind of a demand that, as we look at Isaiah Hartenstein in his first media day in a Thunder uniform, that the demand is you give it on both sides of the ball. And it reflected so much in the numbers and the effectiveness this team generated game to game. Michael, you can rely on the 15 years you played, but I've always felt like in the years that I've been a broadcaster in this league, defense travels in the NBA. Because this team defended at the level it did, even on nights when it wasn't clicking offensively, it's a staple. And Mark Daigneault talks all the time about we need initiators of the offense all over the floor. So it's positionless basketball almost. And defensively, if you're bringing it, you're bound together, you're communicating, then on a nightly basis, you're going to be highly competitive. This team and Boston, the only two teams that were top 5, both in offensive and defensive efficiency, year ago.
Well, I thought they hung their hat on it, and that's been really the last couple of seasons. it wasn't like it started last year. I think Mark Daigneault did a great job of saying, look, if we want to be a good basketball team, we got to be able to stop the basketball, because obviously, night-to-night basis in the NBA, you can get blown out by some of the teams that are struggling. As you look at Isaiah Joe here, who's going to walk up and talk to us, I mean, he was one of those guys who had the offense, had the defense, and probably, Mr. Isaiah Joe, welcome to Media Day here.
Yes,
Michael
sir.
Cage, Chris Fisher, Matt Pinto, and Royce Young.
Good to see you.
How y'all doing this morning?
He was one of those guys who had my favorite dunk of the year last year. I just said that was amazing. That's one for the ages, believe it or not. But good to have you here, man.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be here.
Hey, that's a good place to start, Michael, because that was a dunk that I'm sure that you still remember. Are people still talking about that? Do you ever go back and watch the highlights of how nasty that really was?
I don't really go back and watch it, but people do talk about it, pretty often. It's like it's one of those things you kind of want to move on, but it's just such a great, I mean, I loved it. I mean, but the fact that a lot of people don't realize that we lost that game. So I couldn't enjoy it.
I did too.
You know what I mean? We couldn't enjoy it like I wanted to, but no, it was definitely probably one of my better highlights I've ever made.
So here's the question, Isaiah. Do you have the trampoline with you this season?
I got like one jump a month. You know what I mean?
What a month.
That's what it was.
We saw a little more than that last year.
It was probably like one every 2 weeks. I just got to choose it wisely. Sometimes I use it up on like a rebound or something.
Well, Isaiah, I was actually about to say, you know what my actual favorite play of yours was last year?
Which one?
Was that rebound that you had against Denver that set up Shai's game winner.
Yeah.
And
Little
to me,
hustle play.
Yeah, that type of play, I think, so many people kind of stereotype you as a shooter, but you do so many other things on the floor, whether it's defensively, you're a lot tougher defender than people give you credit for, but also those types of hustle plays where you're sticking your nose in there and rebounding it. So, where does that come from for you to just, people might think of you as a shooter, but you do a lot more on the court.
I mean, I'm just trying to win at all costs, no matter what it takes, whether that's knocking down shots, getting a steal, getting a rebound. I realized that, all the little plays, all the little things do matter and they add up. And, just in a situation like that, it's like, it's either do that or lose the game. So we had to get ourselves the opportunity to get the shot up. And so, hustle for that rebound, it was there. And the rest is history.
I'm curious, Isaiah. Sam Presti talked in his media availability a couple of days ago. We have the Jaylin issue sort of resolved on this team, right? J-Dub and J-Will.
Yeah.
Now we have two Isaiahs. So how do we handle that?
We actually had a conversation about that earlier in the summer. We came to consider I'm Zay, and we're going to call him Hart.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
A little easier with the different last names.
We don't have the first and last name. It's not as hard for
A
sure.
little bit easier to differentiate. Isaiah, how much confidence do you have coming into this season? I mean, it seems like your game has grown, all the different things that you do, as you and Royce pointed out, but has that led you to have more confidence in your game as you have proven that not only do you belong in the NBA, you belong with this Thunder team, and you've got a lot more room to grow?
Yeah, very confident, but also knowing that, there's a lot more room for growth that comes with that. I'm really excited for the season, to see what I can do, what the team can do. We got a great group of guys, a great coaching staff. It's going to be a good one for us, and just to see where we're at, and, we just got to fight for it.
Anything about last year that turned the corner for you guys where you felt, obviously it was a very successful year.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on being divisional champions and top seed in the West. Any point in the season where you felt like things came together as a team? Because it takes a team to get that far and do what you guys did, making it to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think for us, we were pretty consistent, throughout the season. From the start all the way through to the finish. We have everybody's on the same accord, no egos out there on the court. We all have, the same motivation, the same goals in mind. And so, and with that, we just play together. We play hard. So I don't know if there was actually one specific turning point. I think, just throughout the course of the season, we just started to, prove more and more what we were capable of. And
so
that,
the consistency of everything just kept it really going, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Isaiah, one of the things that, Mike was talking about that a lot of people overlook with this group is how good of a defensive group you guys have been over the last few years. There's a lot of the ball movement catches the eye, the great shooting, the best shooting team in the NBA last year, but defensively you guys are so strong. And then now you add on Isaiah Hartenstein and Alex Caruso, two really, really good defenders. So what does that add to the element that this team already is really strong at?
Oh man, I mean, we got more veteran guys on our team. Isaiah Hartenstein, really, really good rebounder. I think that's something that we could have used a little bit more of last season. And so bringing that to our team, we got Alex Caruso, veteran defender, hard nosed, does whatever it takes to win. Definitely respect those guys and glad that we have them on our side. But yeah, adding those pieces to our team, I think it can only help us.
Isaiah, there's so many talented players on this team. You're one of them. But do you find that with all the attention that maybe Chet gets and that SGA gets, or even J-Dub, just to name a few, that you find that opponents kind of take you lightly, maybe in some respects, and you're such a good shooter and you do so many different things, but do you find that maybe sometimes opponents might sleep on you in your game?
I think it's just kind of, they have to play like a cat and mouse game. You can either take me away from the three and be hugged up, on me while, Shai's going one-on-one, Dub and Cheddar, they can't be stopped in that aspect, or you getting a help side, really help side and just leave me open. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game. They got to pick their poison when it comes to that aspect. I think it's just, our team is just full of guys that complement each other.
The league may view you differently this season based on your successes a year ago. How internally do you maintain the same degree of focus, the same approach?
I've just grown up, just always trying to be level-headed. Don't get too high, don't get too low, even kill the whole time. And I think that helps me stay focused, day in and day out.
To Chris's point about taking you lightly, I wouldn't take you lightly after that Golden State game. You went 7 for 7 from downtown, and the Thunder came back and had that miraculous win in overtime. Really remarkable shooter. I mean, I remember you really caught my eye that particular night because it wasn't like you were wide open on threes. Mm-hmm. They were contested, and it just shows the confidence that you play with. And then we saw the defensive side of you later on in that year to complete that package and complete the personality of this team. So really, it was just really fun watching you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, no worries.
Well, I was gonna build on what Mike said, because something I've always wondered from a great shooter perspective is that when you are having a hot game like that, does the next one, you kind of know, I haven't missed yet, I'm 5 for 5, 6 for 6. Does that next one get harder or easier to make?
It's about the same.
Really?
Yeah, that's all I'm telling you, just trying to stay even killed, the whole time. Whether I'm hot or, I'm not having, such a great shooting, I'd always shoot the next one like it's going in. But definitely, in a game like that, the rim may get a little bigger, it feels like shooting into an ocean.
But I thought that was kind of cool that you outshot one of the league's all-time shooters in his building in Steph Curry. It was just kind of ironic that you had that kind of shooting night.
And then, Michael, Chet challenged him on that shot to force overtime, right, from the wing.
We can't forget about that one.
Yeah. It was infectious, but it started with you, though.
I'm not surprised you're not forgetting about those threes, Mike. You just dream about those threes. Isaiah, I watch you warm up a lot before the game because your shot is so unique in that it gets so much arc. It is not a typical shot. I mean, this thing is a rainbow coming in, and it's a joy to watch. For young shooters out there, if you had shooting tips for them on how to get that kind of arc, what's one of the keys? Because it's really unique.
Yeah, I mean, follow through is a lot of it. Just follow through high. But I think a lot of people, you just got to understand the concept. The higher the ball goes, the bigger the rim is for the ball. If you're shooting a flat shot, it's you got a really thin margin of error. So you just kind of, when you shoot the ball arch like that, it helps it out a lot. Makes the rim bigger, makes the ball, a lot easier to go in.
The science of shooting there.
That's what science. I'm making a note. I'm going to make my first
you need to start making
make some notes, Mike. Those line drives ain't cutting for you.
Don't make me give out all my secrets.
That was priceless. That made my day. That one comment right there.
Isaiah, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you this year, as always.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Isaiah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Now, they used to say at the Boston Garden that there were the kind rims, right? That the ball would bounce on those rims a lot. He doesn't need bounces on rims.
Thank you.
Isaiah Joe does. Here's the other Isaiah.
Yeah, we're switching Isaiah's real quick.
Well, Isaiah, welcome, and welcome to your first Thunder Media Day here in OKC. Broadcasters here, and so we need a little clarification. We've heard your name called Hartenstein.
Yeah.
It's got a little German twist to it with your German roots. But we've also heard you say Hartenstein.
Yeah.
So how do you prefer it? How would you like us to say it?
So Stein and Stein is perfect, just anything but Steen. Just stay away from Steen. You can go Stein, whatever's easy for y'all.
iHeart works as well?
iHeart, Heart. I know because we got Isaiah Joe here, so Heart, cool. iHeart, that's perfect for me.
Well, welcome to Oklahoma City and welcome to the Thunder. And this was obviously a huge offseason for you.
Yeah.
Free agent signing, coming over from the New York Knicks. You had some success. What ultimately led to the decision for you to come to Oklahoma City? And so far, what are your impressions?
Just the opportunity. I mean, I feel like what they're building here is great. I mean, just from afar, to see how the organization is run from top to bottom was really interesting to me. Just coming here knowing I can help them win. I mean, that's the biggest thing. But then how process-driven they are. I mean, a lot of teams, they go into seasons, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But the way they talked about the process, that we got to take it day by day, I think that's something that's really important to me. So, yeah.
Isaiah, well, next season, obviously, you had a terrific playoff with the Knicks last year. Everybody knows who you are. And again, welcome to Oklahoma City. What do you feel the biggest challenge for you coming into a new team, new city, I mean, you've done this before, I know, because being in the NBA long enough, you're going to get traded or you're going to get signed somewhere else. What do you feel is the biggest challenge for you this year?
I mean, just getting adjusted to their play style. I mean, I feel like I'm just trying to come in and help them get better. I mean, that's my biggest thing, is just making the lives of Shai, J-Dub, Chet, and all these guys, their life's easier. So just kind of figuring out what certain guys like, what certain guys don't like, and then that just takes time. And so I feel like the training camp's going to help a lot, the preseason, and then just kind of leading up to that, just getting more of a chemistry, what most of the guys already have. So that's probably going to be a little bit at the beginning. It's going to be a little getting to know each other, and so I think that's probably the biggest thing, is getting into it.
Isaiah, you fit personally a lot of the things the Thunder value, which is hard work. Things haven't been handed to you on a silver platter.
Yeah.
You got to earn what you get. And, when I think about your career and, where you started, you've been in the G League, you've been overseas, all these sorts of things. What was you're still a young player and you're really well traveled. What was the big keys for you in kind of cementing yourself and really kind of finding your footing in the NBA?
It's a combination. I think, first of all, it's putting your ego aside. I mean, what a lot of people think, especially when they see all them summer videos, they're like, oh, he can do all this. But in the NBA, it's really finding a role. I mean, figuring out how you can help the team and what you need to get better in to help the team. I think that's the main thing. A lot of NBA teams, they have two guys that kind of can do whatever they want, but the rest, we just got to figure out how to help the team. I think that was the biggest thing for me, just learning how to adjust to different situations. And so now coming from New York to here, it's again another adjustment, but I'm excited to make that adjustment and help the team win.
Rebounding, especially on the offensive glass, has always been a staple of yours, but watching you set screens, watching you in the Knicks system pass from both the high and low post, exceptional. It really sort of elevated their offense. But the thing that fascinates me about your game that I've seen to this point is that floater you have in the lane. It's a guard's shot, and yet you get in between the top level and the lower level defense, float that up with a really high percentage going in. Where'd that come from, and how much do you see that impacting the effectiveness playing with the other guys on this team this season?
I mean, in Europe, that you kind of play like every position. So Europe, my dad was big in putting me in different situations, and the floater just kind of came. I mean, I was trying to find a kind of a shot for guys like Rudy Gobert, for guys that like Joel in the playoffs, to where I didn't have to go straight at them. I can kind of get to my spot, kind of shoot over them with the floater. And for me, it's been so consistent that it's been kind of a good weapon, especially against guys, to kind of space them out and get to my shots too.
Especially Wembanyama down in San Antonio. How about that?
Throw it a little higher.
He was the one I had to throw a little bit higher, but I've been working on that. I got Chet every day. So.
Okay.
Isaiah, welcome to Oklahoma City. I know the fan base is really looking forward to seeing you out there and what you bring to this Thunder team. So welcome.
I'm really excited. Appreciate y'all. Nice meeting you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, man.
Oh, nice meeting you, brother.
We would say nice meeting you, but we know you.
A little bit.
How you doing, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Yes. Can you guys actually see me?
Yeah.
There you go.
You got a new look here going, huh?
Yeah.
Is that going to stay over the course of the season, or are we just doing that for Media Day?
Absolutely won't be staying. I cannot see.
Baseball reference, Oscar Gamble is what I think of as you're sitting down. Talk to us about the offseason for you, because last season the jump from rookie season to second was substantial, like in every facet and every phase. So what does a guy entering his third season now focus on? What was your focus this offseason, and what are you excited to unleash in season 3?
I don't want to spill the beans on everything I was working on, but I think the biggest thing for like the summer is just having like a routine of being in one spot for the most part. Not really like traveling like too much, and just kind of setting up a good camp. A big thing I think in the summer too is being realistic with your game. So I think having the Dallas series and the playoff experience that we had this past year kind of opened up new horizons in my game that I thought I could get better at. So I kind of took that with a grain of salt, took a couple days back from basketball and just kind of went back to work and had a good setup all summer.
What would you say, J-Dub, that you did learn the most from that postseason series? The postseason in general, you guys had a great series against New Orleans, ended up losing to Dallas in the second round. But for you personally, what did you take from that really you're going to apply going into this year? Without giving us all the secrets.
Oh, yeah. Just like I think every possession matters. I think I had a really good approach to the season. So when the playoffs did come, it wasn't this whole new experience. And, we weren't like shell-shocked. So I think that was a big one for me. Just kind of understanding the game more and more, how much every little detail matters and how important a possession can be. And I think just for me personally, just figuring out how to be more and more efficient each time I step on the floor and, kind of having my game revolve around that.
Dub, one of the things coming into last season, you're still a lottery pick. You had an incredible rookie season. But a lot of people, I don't know if it's fair to say you kind of snuck up on people with how good you were last year and the impact you often made in fourth quarters in game. Now everybody knows you're really, really good.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of counteract that this year, either personally and like your own personal expectations or just the way other people are going to approach you around the league?
Well, I try not to think about it that way. I think a lot of it more is...
Sorry I asked.
No, you're good. No, but I think that's just a realistic thing. Obviously, like you said, I had 2 good years, but I think for me it's just I want to get so much better that I don't really even worry about how well I may or may not have played throughout that. I think a lot of times I just want, at the end of the year, to look back and be like, I got better at this, or, I improved here. So I think that's how I look at it. So... I think this year to just be more, again, just trying to balance the highs and lows of the season and come out better each time.
Yeah. I got a question for you, man. Being a former ball player, always looking at y'all moves out there, and I know you got this one move where you drive left and you finish right. I got to ask you, man, is that a shot you practice? Because that's a difficult shot, first of all. Very few people can do that successfully without throwing it over the basket. Is there you work on that shot? Is that something you're aware of? Look, I'm going to drive hard left, finish right. You can bank that shot in. You can fade to the baseline with it. It's not a shot that's being taught to players because very few people. It's
not efficient.
But you are though.
Yeah.
That's my question to you. Is that a shot you work on?
It's something that I've shot for since I was 10. It's just something that was comfortable. Yeah, so when I had a little bit of a growth spurt, my knees were always in pain. So that was one of the shots where I was really comfortable shooting it. And from then it was just one of those things that, as a hooper, it's just one of those things that just sticks with you the whole time. And now I'm 6'6" and I can get it off really well. The Thunder were not fans of the shot at first because it does look crazy. But
I used to get put on the bench for trying that. Right? One of my horse shots.
I don't know. The biggest thing my dad says, if it goes in, nobody's going to say anything.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Exactly right.
Once it started going in,
comfy.
nobody said anything anymore.
Yeah. Once it went in at a pretty good clip, Mark kind of left it alone. But at the same time, that's part of the evolution of my game is trying to figure out ways that I don't have to always do that shot.
Yeah, well, it's a difficult shot to guard, man. Going left, driving right.
I'm curious, defensively, you made as big a mark as you did offensively a season ago, no question. Guarding bigger guys, smaller guys didn't seem to matter. Do you see with the different personnel on this roster, maybe that role changing a little bit? Do you still expect to be guarding Giannis and, goodness, who else? Jokic at times?
Everybody.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns. I mean.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what has helped me get to where I'm at. I think offensively, I just had such a big leap that it kind of went under the radar a little bit. like defensively, but I think night in, night out, I like that challenge. Obviously, we have new pieces that where there's certain times I don't need to do that just for obvious reasons. We have somebody more equipped to handle that job, but it's a challenge that I enjoy. And I think when you're guarding players like that, like I had Kyrie the whole Mav series, or I had CJ McCollum right before that. So I think the more you can guard those guys, like the better it'll make me, and it'll kind of accelerate, you know, my progression as a player too.
JW touched on your offseason as we were starting this interview process, and it's remarkable to have one person get to the NBA. Your brother got to the NBA. You got to be a part of that draft experience for him. With him coming into the league and this being his first year, what did you tell him? And is there a little bit of talk going back and forth between the two of you, I would assume?
I haven't told him a lot. I think the beauty of the NBA is coming in and not knowing what to expect at all. I think that's what makes it fun. But at the same time, you know, I give him like pointers on like trying to get to bed early, routine, eating. You know, I got him to get a chef. Kind of just change the way he eats, like stuff that'll like increase the longevity of his career. And obviously, I talk more trash than he does. He never talks, so I'll text him every once in a while, just randomly, and I'll be like, I can't wait to kill you. So, but that's just our relationship. I really look forward to that. That's a special thing.
It shouldn't be any other way. I'm sure he's looking forward to it as much as you are.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, J-Dub. Can't wait to see it.
Appreciate it.
Another year coming up for you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good seeing
Appreciate you stopping by.
Yes, sir. Big watch.
All right, who will pass the microphone?
You know, he was dubbed like the most talkative player in the NBA by a number of other players.
I'm surprised.
I see why.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not sure that was Cason, but Dub was. Yeah.
No, Cason is not the most
Definitely.
talkative.
Cason, not even in the conversation.
Good to see you,
Hey,
man.
welcome, Cason.
Cason Wallace, welcome back, man. Year number 2.
Yes, sir.
How we feeling going into year 2? I'm sure last year these lights are so bright. You don't know what you're looking at. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. But now going into year 2, you've got a little bit of familiarity. You've got a year under your belt. What's the difference mentally for you? And I'm sure that you've got to have a lot more confidence this year than you did last year.
Yeah, a lot more confidence, like you said. Last year, I just didn't know anything. You know, I was coming into a new environment, just trying to find my way around the league and teammates and, you know, how everything works. But, you know, now I got a good understanding of how that'll be. So, you know, it's a long season, and I know what it takes to get through it now.
Okay, so I was looking at this training camp roster, and your weight's up a little bit. I think it looked like you had a big off-season in terms of strength gain. Was that a big focus for you?
Definitely. That goes to, you know, being a rookie and not knowing what it takes to play at this high level. So I knew, you know, next year this year, upcoming year, I wanted to have a few more pounds on me so I could absorb more bumps and be able to throw some bumps out there. So that was a big part of the summer.
You know, you spent, a year at Kentucky, and you come in, and now you're coming off the bench for your rookie season. I thought that's one of the toughest things for a young player to do who's been a starter his entire career. Your first year in the NBA, you're coming off the bench, but you found a niche. You found a way to impact the game, to make things happen, hit a big three, come up with a big stop, drop a nice dime somewhere. How were you able to make that mental adjustment so quickly, which I really thought was remarkable at times?
Appreciate it, but I got to give a lot of credit to my teammates and the coaches. You know, they made sure that I wasn't getting down on myself because I wasn't playing, you know, 30, 40 minutes a
up
game.
And down.
Yeah. But they was telling me, like, I'm playing impactful minutes to the team. Like, when I go in, I make an impact on the game. So that type of stuff kept my confidence up. Coming from teammates and coaches, that feels good.
Cason, when Josh Giddey was moved to the Bulls and Alex Caruso joined your team, one of the points that was made by Sam Presti was we want to get Chet actively involved as a playmaker, and we want to see Cason more in that role. How do you receive that, and how does that fit into your game this season from your view?
Just go out there and, you know, just keep adding to my game and keep progressing as a player. But that doesn't mean, like, you know, go out there and be somebody you're not just because, you know, a few opportunities might, you know, show itself. But Alex, he's a great teacher, and, you know, he's been helping me through the summer. He has a lot of knowledge of what's going on in the game, so it'll be good learning from him.
I was going to ask that, Cason. You've got a guy like Alex. You've had Lou kind of, as a defensive backcourt mate. Now all three of you guys together. But even just beyond what you can learn from them, but what are some things that maybe you can help some of those veteran guys? Sometimes it's good to have some young eyes on things. What are things that they could learn from you?
We was talking about it a few days ago, like how they see the offensive side of things, and I look straight to the defense first sometimes. Like, we seen a play, somebody did an offensive move, and I was like, yo, if he would have reached right there, he would have had an easy steal. So just telling them or teaching them how to be more instinctive and just go with the game.
Now, you also showed how durable you were. You and Chet were only one of few rookies to play all 82 games plus the playoff. Where do you feel that your conditioning helped, or what was the key to you just staying healthy for 82 games? That's a grind. It's a grind of a schedule.
I'd say just listening to the trainers and my teammates. Everybody put a big emphasis on taking care of your body and make sure you eat right, make sure you lifting weights during the season. So I feel like just being an open book and, just staying open-minded to all the things that I could be doing to make sure I'm ready for the next game.
So much, Cason, of your rookie year is just trying to get a little familiarity, figuring out what you're supposed to be doing. But I'm sure that along the way, in all those games that you played, there were certain matchups that you kind of filed away in the back of your head and you said, I can't wait to face that player again, or I can't wait to face that matchup again. He got the best of me that time, but you know what? Next time, I'm going to be ready for this. Are there any of those type of matchups that really stick out to you that you're looking forward to going into year two that you feel like you're going to be better at?
Not really, because I feel like it was an internal thing with myself. Maybe I didn't go to that game prepared enough. Maybe I was too relaxed. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep that night. So I would just make sure that I'm more locked in for each game. Like you said, it was a learning curve, my rookie year. Coming off a back-to-back, get in at 3 in the morning in a random city. So it's like you don't really know where you are. But this year I kind of know a little more and know how to attack those situations better.
One of the things the Thunder loved about you coming out of the draft was your ability help side defensively. You have instincts, the steal rate is up, you're in passing lanes, you're really adept in that facet. On-ball defense, where do you see improvement for yourself? And is that part of the physicality you're looking to insert into your game this season to navigate screens and to maybe get tighter on guys that you're guarding?
Most definitely. That goes back to the work I did this summer, trying to put some weight on so I could blow up a few screens, or I could, chest a guy better, or I'll be able to, a better moment of truth guy under the basket. So it all goes back to, gaining the necessary muscle.
To kind of build on what Chris just asked you about, one of the things Lou has talked about in the past is literally building a notebook of kind of thoughts about players that he's defended and guarded. And now going into year two, you've, whether it's a mental notebook or a physical one, now you've kind of got some pages to read about players that you've guarded. So how big of an advantage is that for you to now know, like, all right, I know what Kyrie Irving does, or I kind of have an idea of what this player does?
It's real helpful. A lot of the guys in the league have go-to moves, but everybody games evolves, every year, and that's what makes this league so difficult, because you don't know what somebody was working on this summer and what they've added to their bag. So that's a challenge that I like to take on, seeing how people change and how I could get better at guarding them.
That's a good point.
All right, Cason, I'm sure you've gotten a lot better going into year two. We look forward to it. Second year in the NBA, second year with the Thunder. Can't wait.
Thank you.
Good talking with you again.
Cason, thank you.
Have a good camp, man.
Thanks, Cason.
Thank you.
And here we are inside Paycom Center. It is Media Day, Thunder Media Day, 24-25, cutting the ribbon on the season here and starting to get a little flavor of these guys and hearing them talk. And I think that they are all very much looking forward to getting back out on the floor. And we're looking forward to seeing this guy.
Let's go,
Here we go.
Let's go.
Aaron Wiggins, number 21, welcome back. I remember last year, you sat down, exact same chair, and you said, I feel like a veteran. I feel like I've been a part of this team. I feel like I've done things now over the last couple of years. So if you felt like a veteran last year, coming into another year, you got 2 playoff rounds under your belt.
Yeah.
What are you feeling coming into this year?
Man, I mean, just coming into the year, man, it's a blessing to be here still and be with a great group of guys. But like you said, I mean, it's year 4 now. And I said I felt like a vet last year. Nothing's changed, man. It's new young guys and, you know, an exciting, you know, beginning and kind of intro for a lot of guys. So, man, I'm excited and just glad to be here.
Can you take us through a little bit of your journey? 55th pick in the draft, late second round, 2-way contract. You earned your way onto the NBA roster. Now an extension this offseason that you earned every penny of. Just the journey, the humility it took, the hard work it took, and now how do you apply the assimilated experiences you've had in year 4?
Man, you mentioned it. The humility, the hard work, a lot of unseen hours. But like I said, man, I'm blessed. You know, all glory to God, you know, just to kind of keeping me healthy and keeping me in a situation where I could just continue to try and take advantage of, you know, the opportunity that was presented to me. I got a great support system behind me and my family and the close friends around me. The organization, I mean, they're doing a tremendous job of just giving guys, you know, the foundation to understanding, you know, what it takes to be successful. So I just try to take full advantage of that. And, you know, like I said, just blessed to be here for year 4.
Wiggs, was there a point in these last few years where you sort of realized, like, this is what I'm good at? I'm good at doing this in the NBA. Was that year 1, 2, 3?
I mean, coming in, one of the things for me was just doing my best to be a professional. You know, being on time, taking advantage of, you know, the resources that were provided to me, you know, being a great teammate, and when my name's called, you know, just being ready to go. Whatever's asked of me, being able to put forth my best foot. So I just say continuing to just try to be a professional, be a guy that, you know, regardless of what's thrown at him, is more than capable of controlling what he can control, and you know what to expect out of me. So, you know, I try to keep that same mindset and mentality going into every season.
Hey, congratulations on a new contract.
Thank you.
You certainly earned that. Talk about last season. What did you get out of that year? I mean, besides some of the big things, divisional champions, the best #1 seed in the West, making it to the second round of the playoffs, getting that playoff experience, what did that year as a whole really teach you and prepare you for this training camp?
I think there's a number of things that I individually and that, you know, our team could have, you know, gotten from last season. Just our ability to grow through each individual game throughout the long season, the off days, the, you know, long road trips. You know, one of the emphasis for the team is growth through experiences. And I think last season was an experience in itself, you know, finishing as a 1 seed, making it to the playoffs, making it to the second round. You know, obviously came up short there, but, like, you learn a lot in that process. So as a team, I think there's a maturity and just a growth and an understanding of what it takes to be a successful team in the NBA. So there's a lot you can really take from the season.
Wiggs, you have huge fans in us, and we try to pump you up as much as we can on the broadcast, because when you come into games, good things happen. And the perception is it's really hard to do that. The perception for the longest time is it's hard to come off the bench and make an impact positive on both ends of the floor. But you do it night after night after night. Since the perception is hard, is it hard for you? I know that you mentioned all these qualities that you have about being a professional and trying to stay ready. But is that a hard thing to do over the course of an 82-game season? Because you make it look easy.
Yeah. I don't think there's any job in the NBA that's easy. I'm not going to lie. Regardless of, you know, what's asked of you, I don't think any part of, you know, anybody's job in the NBA is easy. So it's definitely a challenge. But like I said, one of the things that I take on is just trying to be a professional every day. So coming into here and just having the mindset to do whatever it takes for my team that day, whether that's in practice, whether that's a recovery day and getting, you know, ice bath, you know, contrast or a massage, or, you know, coming in and taking a charge on defense. Regardless of what's asked of me, I'm just trying to be a professional, and everything's hard about the NBA. So if you ask all of these guys, they'll say they have the tough task. So,
real quickly, how did you celebrate getting the contract extension?
I was with my family.
All right.
Didn't really like celebrate with anything big, but just kind of spent time with my family. And when it all kind of went down, they were all by my side, and they were super happy, and just an exciting moment.
Well deserved.
Thank you.
Very much earned.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we can't wait for year number 4.
I appreciate you
Have a
guys.
good camp.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Hey,
Wiggs.
guys. All right, good to see you guys.
I'll never forget Mark Daigneault talking about him as a rookie and saying, the guy's just serious.
Yeah.
Like, he is business. He is all business.
Well, you can ask Mark
He's
right
all
now.
about- yeah, that
Speaking
professionalism.
of,
Let's confirm that with Mark Daigneault. Hey, Mark.
Can't wait to hear this.
Speaking out of school. No, I was
Lower
just
seat
talking.
this year. Appreciate that.
Yeah, nice shoes.
Like the bar stools.
Yeah. No, I liked it. You're matching the shoes that everybody has. It's nice. Yeah, nice
Very
effort.
Nice
All right,
taste
we all
out of
called
everything.
each
So
other.
I was just talking about what you said about Aaron Wiggins as a rookie, how serious he was, how business in his approach that he was, and then to see the journey, and we just talked to him about that. But to me, on some levels, Mark, he kind of embodies Thunder basketball, does he not?
Yeah, I think the first memory I have of him is in Summer League, and we drafted him. He was the 55th pick, and that year in Summer League, he was like so hungry to show what he had, but he was highly inefficient. You know, he didn't do it in a way that was scalable. And going into training camp around this time, we grabbed him and basically said, hey, we love the drive, but you got to tighten these things up and you got to become a more efficient player. And then I went and watched the first Blue game he played, and it was like he figured it out very quickly. And I think he's a guy that has taken his strengths and his natural ingredients, but he's really honed an efficient style of play that's made him a very additive player on both ends of the floor. But he's completely self-made. I was so happy for him when he signed his contract over the summer. He's somebody that the program is very proud to be kind of walking with.
Speaking of the summer, Mark, how did you spend it? What was your priority? Did you get a little time off? Tell us about the last 4 months for you.
Yeah, I mean, we have at work we have a process, that's kind of an after-action review of the season, and then kind of a brainstorm of potential ideas moving into this year, and then we start planning towards the end of the summer, and then just a lot of personal family time in between. We have a young family, Ashley and I, and it's been incredible to watch our kids grow up, and so plenty of time there as well, so a good balance of work and play.
Did you go to any good concerts this summer?
I went to Hosier the other night at Paycom, and first of all, I love coming here as a patron. It's great to be on the other side of it.
No doubt.
Everybody's really nice to you, even if they don't know who you are. I'm unrecognizable to some of them. But he put on a great show. He sold the place out, and the last time Ash and I saw him was at the Criterion, and I was the blue coach. And now I couldn't believe that he could play a venue like this, and he put on a great show.
They probably really didn't know who you were back then at the Criterion.
Yeah, they still don't, but they're
Blended and fit right.
I could be anonymous with the best of them.
Mark, I played on young teams before, and it was a mess. And I was traded to young teams. And
you ever self-reflect on that? You might have had something to do with it.
I may have. I did my part. And, it's really tough to get everybody swimming in the same direction. You've managed to do that not just 1 year, but over the last several years, if not more. How difficult is that, and what is the challenge involved where you can get young guys to really buy into the system and stay focused and believe in what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been talked about a lot. I think it starts with the kinds of people that we bring in terms of the players. The guys we draft or the guys that we bring in the door. One of the things I think Sam's done a great job of is have a really high bar in terms of the types of people that we want to be a part of the program, and making sure that they're people that will naturally gravitate to the values that we're going to be preaching every single day. And so we've found great alignment with the guys that we've brought in. And then the other part of that is we have to put a program out that is worthy of their commitment. It's not just their responsibility to commit, but it's our responsibility to put something in front of them that's easy to commit to. If you think about if you're at like a workout course, but the teacher's disorganized and you don't think that the class is worth your while, you're not going to be motivated to put forth your best effort. And so it's a mutual responsibility. It's not just on them to commit, but it's on us to do our part as well. And to this point, everybody's done a good job of that, but that starts over starting tomorrow.
I'm going to ask, I have no idea what you'll give up here, but you go
Nothing.
get Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein. So the wheels in your head are spinning in what direction? What do you see in an additive sense for Thunder basketball with those two guys now in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, they're both compete together players, and we want to be a compete together team, and they've proven throughout the course of their careers that that's who they are for the teams they play on. And then, tomorrow in training camp, we're starting with the most basic fundamentals to build a foundation that we can take into the season. And all the iterations and evolutions happen from there. Mm-hmm. And if your foundation's not strong, you can't really do anything else. And so they're two guys that have strong foundations to their game. And the stuff that we emphasize, which is boring and basic, is stuff that will resonate with them and stuff that they have proven that they can do. And that's what's most exciting, not necessarily projecting where it goes, but understanding that, they will, what we're putting forward will resonate with them, and they will resonate with the group because of who they are.
Mark, so much about the development of this team over the last few years has been experimentation and trying different lineups, trying different combinations, trying just about anything. What about the experimentation process this year are you looking forward to and implementing and potentially trying to uncover?
Yeah, people talk about that because we've been willing to do that in the past. And what I would say is the goal is not to experiment. The goal is not to be unconventional. The goal is to do what's best. And we're okay doing what's best if it's conventional. We have no problem with that. I mean, you could say, hey, we're going to bust to every road game this year. That would be highly unconventional, but it wouldn't be best. So we're okay doing something conventional if it's best, but we also are okay doing something bold. And it's really about learning the team, and it's about learning the best path forward, not being constrained by conventionality. And trying to figure that out over the course of the season and not being afraid to go through that process and risk a level of failure in the process.
All right, Mark, thank you. What do we got? Year 5 coming up?
Year 5, year 11 in the organization.
Wow.
I've been in Oklahoma for 11 years, long time. I've loved every minute of it.
Congratulations, Mark, and also congratulations on Player of the Year, too. Coach of the Year, let me say that.
Thank you. Well, I can't leave you on that because there's so many people, as I said when I won that award, there's so many people that contribute to the success of a team, and so to be singled out is a little bit awkward, but I do appreciate it. I'm grateful, but at the same time, there's a lot of hands that go into that circle at the end of practice every day.
And that's what makes you the best.
Well said.
What you just said.
Right?
I mean,
thank you. You're the best, Matt.
Have fun at training camp tomorrow.
I deflect with the best from too, Matt.
That is a fact.
Thanks for the lower seat again.
Thanks, Mark.
Just here to accommodate you, Mark. Well, this young man needs no introduction.
That's right.
Somebody we know well in Lou Dort. We just said it was Mark Daigneault's 5th year. It's year number 6 for you, correct?
6 for me.
Year
yeah,
number 6.
Yeah.
Can you believe it's already your 6th media day?
Goes by fast, yeah.
Goes by fast.
Yeah.
Is this one unique? Are you looking forward to this one that might be any different than the previous 5?
For me, it's the same approach, honestly. It's always fun to come here and play in front of fans and stuff like that. So, I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to go back in front of the fans.
Lou, when this, thinking back on your career, you're really the guy that's was at the ground floor of this. And, when everything started out, you were, a two-way player, an undrafted player, and to where you've come from then to now. But how much pride do you take in the fact that you have been part of this Thunder journey every step of the way? Yeah,
I take a lot of pride, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity and the trust that this organization had in me from the beginning. And I'm really happy. They really shaped me as a professional basketball player, honestly. And then I got a lot of love to give back to this organization and the city as well. So I'm so happy to go back to it again.
Lou, the experience you have is valuable because you were here, as Royce just mentioned, at the ground level. Yeah. And where you are now, you've seen a lot of change. Do you feel that's something you can help the younger players out with now that are coming on board? Dillon, AJ, even throw Cason and Chet in there too, because this is just their 2nd year. And someone, as I'm sure at some point in time, because the roster was totally different 5 seasons ago, where someone, really kind of showed you the ropes and helped you get through and say, look, you know what, this is where you can get to one day. Well, you're there one day. Yeah. So what do you feel you can offer those young guys on the roster?
Number one thing is really the approach, how you approach the game every time, and you approach the season. To really go out there and compete and play your best. And also out here, it's the culture and the togetherness that we have, and that we want to bring them along, with us, and to teach them that whenever you step on the court, you're looking out for yourself, but also for the team, and to know that you got to have everybody's back, and we're gonna cheer on for the next one.
Now, I say young guys with respect, because you're still a young guy.
Yeah, right.
But still, on a young team, you got a lot of basketball left, too, as well.
Knowing your win-at-all-cost mentality, it's exhibited right there for everybody to see, every possession, it seems. What were your thoughts when Alex Caruso was acquired, given the defensive chops he brings to join you and the others on this roster that was exceptional defensively without his addition? But I'm curious as to what your thought process was.
Yeah, it brings a lot. It's going to bring a lot of good and positive. He has a lot of experience. He's achieved a lot in his career, especially defensively. So for myself, the way I see it is to learn. It's to learn. You know what I mean? And he's had a great approach, and he's been really vocal and leading, which is nice. And me, I'm still a learner. I still want to learn a lot, and especially defensively. So I feel like I can learn a lot from him.
You might have a lot to learn, but there's a lot that you know.
Yeah.
And nobody knows how to draw offensive fouls quite like you do out on the perimeter. Very crafty, very skilled. Where did that come from, and how have you been able to sort of hone that so well? Because you lead the NBA year after year in drawing those offensive fouls. Without giving away the trade secrets
I can't give you too much, but the only thing I'll say really is I watch a lot of film, and I not only watch the film of the guys that I guard, I also watch the film of the screeners that will screen me during the games. And, just me being aware of that, of what they've been doing. And other than that, I just got to move my feet well and try and get over
Pedigree established defensively. A travesty you've not yet been on an all-defensive team. That's in the future, no doubt. But I want to talk to you about your offensive game for a second. What's evolving and continuing to grow there for you, along with your level of confidence? And what are you bringing into year 6 that way?
Yeah, main thing is to really be consistent, really let the game come to me. Read the game and be patient. I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job with that this past year, and then I just want to keep doing that. First it comes to trust of my teammates, being able to find me and stuff like that. But at the same time, they need to have the trust in me to be able to take the right shot and make the right decision. So, that was one of the points that I've been working on the most, and it's been good to me.
One of the things, just kind of what Chris asked you about, is that, this isn't the trade secret to it, but my very elementary take is that a lot of it's taken care of, Luke, because you just play so stinking hard.
Right.
Like, you play with so much effort and desire and intensity on the court. How do you do that? Like, how do you do that 82 games all season long, all the time?
Yeah, it's really just my approach. Just how I see the game, and I feel like that's how I can impact the game every time for my team. So, every time I step on the floor, I'm always playing my hardest. I'm going to play like it's second game, my last game, and I feel like this, it touched my teammates as one, and at the same time, those are just a lot of winning plays. I really want to win, and that's my mentality, but it's really how I approach the game.
Lou, let's talk a little bit about this summer and your experience playing for Canada, and what was it like playing in the Olympics, which is such a unique experience for those that are fortunate enough to get that opportunity. You guys didn't get the result that you wanted, but to be able to play for Canada, be able to play with Shai on the Canadian national team, and just to be in the Olympics as a whole, what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a great experience. Like you said, there's not a lot of people that gets the chance to be an Olympian, and I'm really grateful and fortunate to be able to, to play for my country and represent my people. So it was really fun. Just being around all the best athletes from around the world was crazy, and seeing how France, really did this whole thing, and how they did all that was amazing. So yeah, it was fun. It's memories that I'll have for the rest of my life. I had my whole family out there with me, so it was really fun.
All right, Luke, congratulations on the Olympic experience. Year number 6, loading up. Training camp starts tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good camp.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
And Matt, you asked him about his experience and everything that he's meant to this team and this organization. And Royce, from the bottom level years ago of him and his ability to earn his way onto the roster, representing the Thunder culture, blue collar, nothing easy. working his way into the starting lineup, working his way into a contract, and now here he is, one of the better defenders in the NBA. You love to see those kind of stories. You love to see the growth. You love to see the development. You love to see the humility, and to see him go about his craft on a nightly basis for a guy who isn't going to get the same kind of recognition that SGA is. And you said it, Matt. He deserves some recognition, particularly on the defensive end. But Lou is one of those guys you just have to root for because of everything that he's gone to, the work that he's put in, and what he's been able to accomplish in his career.
We're watching living history, guys. I mean, by the time he's done, which is many years down the road, he will establish records for a player undrafted in the NBA on both sides of the ball. And, Michael, you asked him about the knack for drawing offensive fouls. One of the two of you guys did, Chris or Michael. And what I would say is that just with the naked eye, calling games, and oftentimes calling them from above the floor now, when you see the physicality he plays with and his body fly as a result of being contacted, it's an earned reputation, right? It's like, if his body's flying, then somebody's doing damage, and doing damage most likely illegally. It's, to me, unprecedented in a modern game. I don't see any other players do what he does and impact the defensive end in that way, drawing those additional possessions for this team. It's invaluable.
Well, I think he's done a great job of, the part you mentioned about being undrafted and staying hungry and staying relevant. Like, what Lou Dort is something the Thunder needs. Something the Thunder are hungry for. It's not like, he's bringing something that they already have. Mm-hmm. I think he kind of created, that type of player in him. So I'm going to go back to giving himself credit for really working his way from being undrafted, as you mentioned, working his way from a two-way contract to an NBA standard contract, and then getting an extension. All those types of things are work, humility, staying focused, not giving anything. Still hasn't been given anything defensively. I got a problem with that. I'm going to say it. I just have to say it. I'm going to go and get it out of my system because I've been wanting to say it. The man should have been on the all-defensive team some kind of way in the last couple of seasons, and it didn't happen. But he stayed focused. He stayed hungry. He stayed within, I think, the framework of the team, because he's a tough guy. He's a physical guy. And when you got a Luka Doncic, you got a Devin Booker, you got an Anthony Edwards, you've got to be physical. You've got to have a big body to match up to Luka and Anthony Edwards. And Lou brings that, and he's very unique in that way.
Matt, I think this is the last time, by the way, that we're going to be talking about Lou not making an all-defense team.
Good.
I think this is the last time it's going to happen.
It should be the last time. And you brought up, Matt, your vantage point. Michael and I are fortunate enough to be on the floor on a nightly basis. And if there's one thing that we see that it doesn't do it justice on TV, it doesn't do it justice from where you sit. You even get 10 rows up. It really doesn't do it justice. But the physicality of an NBA game is real. Mm-hmm. It is not a friendly ecosystem, and he is in the thick of it out on the perimeter. And what he goes through physically with all of those screens, possession after possession
and
after
not
possession,
get the call sometimes.
And not get the call, just to try to stay attached to whether it's Luka Doncic or Jamal Murray or whoever it is that he's trying to defend. That is such a burden, and I don't think TV does it justice, and I don't think that the majority of where you're sitting in an NBA arena does it justice.
Chris, it's funny you say that, because I do think people overlook the fact of how much other teams try to screen Lou off of their good player, because, that is what they are trying to do. It makes me think of the game in Los Angeles 2 seasons ago where Lou was matched up on Kawhi Leonard, and the Clippers, I think, tried to screen him 4 or 5 times, trying to just peel him off of Kawhi Leonard. But, one of the things when I sit here and I look at Lou, I have so much admiration for him as a player. I think if Sam Presti talked a long time ago about catalysts in the organization, players that can really generate great moments that stack up and build to something better. And Lou is the quintessential example of that. And, he was doing all these same things that we talk about right now that we saw him doing against Luka and Kyrie in the playoffs when all the lights are on and the building's full. He was playing that exact same way November 7th when the team was 1-9. And that's just the way Lou Dort approaches the game.
And I'm curious, for the four of us that have been fixed on the growth and the seasonal development of the guys currently on this roster. If you look back to the season when Lou and Shai made the playoffs with Chris Paul, Daigneault Gallinari, that iteration of Thunder basketball, who had Shai and Lou as, in essence, the founding fathers, so to speak, of the current Thunder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're owners of this culture, and they take incredible pride in that. And you talk about, representations of what OKC Thunder basketball are all about. You look at the humility, you look at the way those two guys approach things. You couldn't have any greater torchbearers than the two of them, but who had those two guys in that role back, right?
Well, also, too, I think there's been a shift in the physical play that's allowed in the NBA right now that's in Lou Dort's favor.
Yep.
I don't know what happened, but I think we were all talking about it at some point around before the All-Star break, shortly after the All-Star break. All of a sudden, more contact was allowed on the floor. Offensively, on the defensive end, and I think that's to a guy like Lou Dort's favor, to a guy like Alex Caruso's favor, who like to play physical, who sometimes get penalized for being physical. I really think that he stayed true to that, even though 3 years ago he was getting punished for it. And maybe at the beginning of last year he was getting punished for being very physical on an on-ball defender, because that guy was always, he was not rewarded. And so he's really stayed true to the type of player what we see him being today. I'm gonna have that pit bull mentality.
Yep.
You can run 3 or 4 screens off me. I'm gonna keep coming like the Terminator.
And he's the type of player, Michael, that you have to have, and not just one of them. With all the offensive skill in the NBA this day and age, there's just too many good players, particularly out on the perimeter, because it's a perimeter game now.
Yep.
And you've got so many different playmakers. You need guys like Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace. You cannot have enough good perimeter defensive players, and the Thunder have been stacking them up.
Yeah, and I think what we saw a season ago, Michael, is that Adam Silver got tired of seeing 145 points scored.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden his product's watered down because it's too much.
Yeah.
It's over the top. And so in season we saw a dramatic adjustment, not announced to anybody, including coaches, including teams, but the way the game was called was dramatically different. And when you have Lou and Cason Wallace and now Alex Caruso and the physicality Isaiah Hartenstein brings, this team is equipped for that rougher, tougher brand of basketball, which really is dialing it back a number of years in the NBA.
And that was something that they didn't know, that these rules are going to all of a sudden shift toward allowing more physical play 3 years ago. I mean, Mark Daigneault, what he's at in his 6th year, 5 years in the books here, had already been teaching that philosophy, despite the rules that were not in place at the time that rewarded teams like that. So really, give them credit for just sticking. Look, this is how we want to play.
Yeah.
We want to play physical. We want to play fast. We want to spread the floor. We want to move the ball around. And we're not going to deviate from that. And I think you're starting to see the results from that type of system.
Yeah, 50-point games, passing them out like Skittles.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
You want a 50-point game? Come on over.
Yeah.
Well, and I was also going to say, one of the things, too, we talk about Lou and Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace. Don't sleep on these.
Alex Caruso now on camera there,
That's
folks.
right.
He is.
But don't sleep on some of these other guys that are, SGA is a very, very good defensive player. Isaiah Joe, we talk about it.
Aaron Wiggins.
J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins.
Yep.
I mean, Thunder players, kind of the identity of this team, Matt, is that kind of every player kind of does everything. And there's no player that it's like, they don't really do that. They all pass, they all shoot, they all dribble, and they all defend. And there's nobody that, I think if you got into a series against the Thunder, you know who your primary matchup guys are. You know who you want to guard somebody. But I don't think that the Dallas Mavericks or the Minnesota Timberwolves or anybody could say, we're really trying to get this guy switched onto this guy. Because you can't really single a Thunder player out in that way.
Good point. Yeah.
And I think that's how the roster has been built, probably since guys like Lou Dort came on board, because he's really been an evolution of this team. If you want to key in to your point, Royce, on SGA, on J-Dub, you're gonna give somebody else an open window who can score the basketball. And talk about scoring. We were just talking about scoring. This guy shows up.
Go ahead, Michael. You can introduce him.
Well, man, it's good to have you here on board. Welcome to your first Thunder basketball camp. And I guess, all the talk, obviously, is we're glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and certainly we know about your skills, and certainly health is going to be, something that, we have to wait on. But how you feeling right now, man? I mean, it's how's everything going? Getting adjusted to Oklahoma City life from Serbia, and the teammates and everything.
I'm feeling great, feeling better every day, stronger, healthier. So that's a really good start. I'm enjoying Oklahoma, enjoying the city. It's really quiet and peaceful, and I really like that. So I'm really enjoying it, and I know I'm going to enjoy it even more.
Okay. Well, how about the teammates? Any guys you kind of, I don't know, I guess more or less had conversations with in the early? I know it's early, training camp starts tomorrow, but any guys that just kind of jump out in your mind that you've really been able to connect with?
I cannot say one guy, but everybody's been
That's good.
Very helpful. We all talk very often about basketball and some other things, life in general, and they're really helpful. Especially Chet, who had the same situation with me, and we've been talking pretty often, so he's been helping a lot.
Take us through draft night, Nikola. What's going through your mind as the process is unfolding? Did you anticipate the Thunder deciding you're their guy?
Yeah, for sure. It was great. I mean, great experience. Probably I'll remember that for the rest of my life. Being there with my family in New York, sitting down at that table. As a little kid, I dreamed to be there, and it was a really special night, and I'm really thankful for it.
Nikola, going through this season, it's obviously, I'm sure you're disappointed that you're not going to be able to play, but you mentioned Chet and, the kind of hidden benefit that there was for him in sitting out that season in all the ways. He talks about it all the time, of all the ways he was able to get much better and be much more equipped to come into the NBA. So what are these areas that you feel like that you can, next season as you come back, to be better equipped with?
Yeah, it has some advantages for sure, to get to know the league, to get to know everybody else that plays there, to know the system, know the 82 games a season. That's really hard, and every rookie hits that rookie ball. So I think I'm gonna prepare for that, and I have time to prepare for that.
Nikola, did I read correctly that you didn't start playing until you were 10 years old, or did you start playing earlier?
That's true.
It was 10, right? Yeah. That's a short amount of time from your starting point of playing at 10 to now getting to the NBA as such a young player. How were you able to grow your game so much in such a short amount of time?
Of course, there's the talent, but talent without hard work is nothing, and I rely on hard work, and that's it.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
Soccer.
Soccer?
Soccer was till 10th.
Oh, that's so you played soccer till 10 and then shifted? Did you just get really tall? Is that what happened? Or?
No, it was basically my best friend and I were at the soccer, and then he went to basketball practice, and I was really bored without him at soccer. So
oh, wow.
I went to basketball with him.
So he's the one to thank for it, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Nikola, how does hard work show in your game? Like, if somebody watches you play and navigate both offensively and defensively, what stands out in terms of what you've developed to this point and where you see yourself growing moving forward?
They can see that I will battle for every ball, that I will give my maximum effort on every possession, no matter defense, offense, no matter what game it is, friendly or regular season or playoff. Hope so one day. So yeah, I think that's the one main thing.
There's so many more players coming to the NBA now from Serbia, and you're kind of joining what is becoming a longer list, and you continue that lineage. Why is basketball becoming such a big sport there, and why are players from Serbia coming to the NBA and having success?
It's not that started a few years ago. Serbia has been a basketball country ever since, and they had some really great achievements, and especially with this year achievement and last year achievement, more and more kids are started to playing basketball and going on the street, playing hoops, playing basketball. So
if I go to Serbia and I ask somebody there and I say, who's your favorite team in the NBA? What are the majority of people from Serbia going to say?
You can be honest. That's
Denver,
okay.
probably.
You can go ahead and be honest.
That's probably Denver.
Probably Denver.
Probably Denver
yeah,
because of Nikola.
that's
There's
what
another
I
Nikola
thought.
out in Denver.
probably,
Pretty good, right?
probably.
Well, hey, in a few years, they're going to say Nikola Topic. I was the 12th pick in the draft. That's what they're going to say in a couple of years.
That's right.
They say Oklahoma.
Yeah, they might. They just very well might. Well, good luck through your rehab.
Thank you.
Have a successful first year in whatever it is that they've got you doing within the organization, and get healthy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Nikola.
Appreciate you.
Nikola Topic,
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for your time,
first
man.
round draft pick for OKC, not expected to play this year, but as he referenced, and Royce, you asked him, he's basically going to pull the redshirt year.
And there was a lot of benefits to that.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Hey, come on through.
Coming in the back door.
Michael K's going to draw a charge over there.
I was going to go speak to the camera, but they couldn't hear me.
Oh, no. He wasn't. He
No, we got to get you a microphone. And Chet, welcome.
Yes, sir.
What do we want to call this, year 3 or year 2? What do you call it?
Either or.
All right.
Yeah.
Either or. Last year, you sat here and I said, how excited are you? You said, I don't want to make it a competition. Nobody should make it a competition because you were more excited than anybody coming into your first real media day. What's the sentiment coming in now after having your rookie year under your belt?
I mean, nothing changes. Still coming in trying to accomplish everything that I can and play with the same excitement that I've always played the game with. And
don't worry, you're not the first one.
Not let anything take my joy away from doing what I do. And that's very hard to do for me. I love to play. I think I always will, and this year will be no different.
Did that last season, excuse me, Matt, did last season ever slow down for you, man? Because it seemed like every week you were just pushed and challenged, playing against these, players for the first time. And the season just kept going. It just kept going. Did it ever slow down at all for you,
not
man?
at all.
Right on
I mean, we were playing 3.5 games a week for 8 months. I've never done that in my life. And you played all games, though. You played all 82 games. Every single one. I'd go play pickup every day in high school if we didn't have a game. We were playing in practice, or I was playing pickup up at Lifetime. So obviously that's not the same level as a NBA game with the same type of athlete, same physicality, but. It's what I've kind of always done, and I wake up every day excited to go play. So, was it easy? No, but I enjoyed it all the same.
Chet, let's be honest. This offseason was not a Where's Waldo for you. Like, you were seen in every gym imaginable against NBA competition, out there doing what you do, which is love the game and get after it all the time. So take me through the offseason and the value it generated for you entering now season 2.
Yeah, off seasons are extremely valuable. In season, it's hard to really work on what you want to work on because you're playing so many games. Your focus is so team oriented, and in the off season, the reins are taking off, and it's kind of like, go get better. I see that as a big opportunity for me to go and improve my game and work on what I want to work on and what I need to work on. And that's what I tried to do this summer. I tried to make a little game with myself and see how many different gyms I could work out in. And, the number just kept going.
And your favorite one was Galen Center, right? Los Angeles, USC, University of Southern California. Number 1. By a wide margin. Tell him, Chad. Tell him, Chad.
Pretty sick gyms out there, but I got to be loyal to my Zags. No gym will beat the kennel, that's for sure.
Yeah, what when you say there were things that I want to work on, that I got after and worked on, can you share any of those with us specifically?
I definitely had to work on my shot. I shot 37% last year on 4-something attempts, which a lot of people might look at and be like, if you could get to that at any point in your career, that'd be really good. But for me, I feel like in order to expand the variety of shots that I can take and be effective with and help our team with, I had to improve my shot and make some tweaks. And, I'm continuing to work on my shot. And I think I always will. If you're never willing to change your shot, you're limiting the ceiling of what it can be, because wherever you're at is where you'll be stuck if you're not willing to make changes in seek of improvement. And sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards, and I think that'll happen throughout my career. But at the end of the day, the end goal is to be able to make more types of shots and do it at an effective rate where it helps us win. That was the goal this offseason. Not only that, but figuring out different ways to get to my shots, talking about shot variety. And being more of a weapon for our team.
Yeah, Chet, I've really hardly ever been around a player quite as hungry and passionate about basketball as you. And one of the things Sam said about you just last week was that you are a player that is incredibly ambitious with no agenda. Where does that come from for you to be that driven, but also never let it impact the team as a whole?
Yeah, just understanding that nobody can ever damper your ambition unless you let them. You can strive to be anybody you want to be, no matter what you're doing. But at the end of the day, you can't take that and be delusional with it. Somebody could be like, I'm ambitious to do this, so I'm gonna skip all the steps it takes to get there, just trying to speed up the process.
Yeah.
And that's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of steps that it takes to get there, and a lot of them involve more than just yourself. So just having an understanding of that, and then also understanding that the game tells you where you're at, not where you're trying to be. So it's just me understanding where I want to be, and then also listening to where I'm at, and kind of building from there up to that point. So it'll be a never-ending process for me. I like to always say, my game's like a puzzle with no border pieces. A puzzle's a lot easier to put together when you start with the border. But you can't do that in basketball. You kind of got to start with the hard pieces and slowly piece them together, and your puzzle just keeps getting bigger. So that's the way I like to look at it.
Philosopher Chet, I love that.
Some mic drop moments here.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Stuff. That's thoughtful.
Chet, we'll call it year 2 on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Yes, sir.
at
I
training
appreciate
camp.
it. Can we get some sevens in the chat for whoever's excited? Is there? I got a chat or something on here. This is a live stream, right?
It sure is.
Okay, where's this?
Right on, drop them.
It's going online on the website, the app.
Okay.
Why, you got fans watching it back in Minnesota?
Honestly, I don't know. Hopefully, sevens in the chat if y'all are excited.
Yes.
It's good to see everybody.
Sounds
I'll
good.
see y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You can
Chet.
go out the front door, the back door, whatever one you want. You came in through the back door.
Side door.
Yeah.
You're gonna pass to number 2?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey,
Good.
Shay, thanks, man. Appreciate you stopping by.
SGA, welcome in.
The man that
And
needs no introduction.
no introduction, but I need to know, as a new dad, and I know that you're a new dad as well.
Oh, I didn't know you were.
Your son is about a month younger than mine, so I'm curious, are you getting any sleep?
I get all the sleep. My wife does not get any.
Uh-oh.
I'm glad one of us is.
Yeah, I get a lot of sleep. Yeah, she gets up through the night. She's a champ for sure.
My wife, similar champ, they do all the work. It's just incredible. You do a lot of work for this team, and you're coming off of just another incredible season where we all think that you can't get better, and yet you come back every single year and you're better. Should we anticipate you being better again going into this year?
Sure, if you want. The odds would be in your favor.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my goal every summer, to get better at least one thing. I work super hard. So hopefully this year I am better. I should be.
Shay, that's something I was actually thinking about driving here is, when you look at your trajectory as a player and how you get better, basically since middle school, you just constantly get better at basketball. But last year, you achieved so much, what you've done over the last couple of years even, but runner-up in MVP, you're one of the true elite superstars in the NBA. How do you not ever just sit back and say, like, you know what, I think I'm good enough now? How do you not do that?
I think part of it is I don't really feel like I've done anything. Like most of my goals and my accomplishments, like that I want to achieve when I'm done playing, I haven't gotten yet. And I've always thought, like, I'm only gonna be able to do this for so long, and then my body will say no. And I want to make sure I maximize the time that I'm gonna be able to do this physically, and get the most out of it, and then all the time for rest and eating junk food, whatever you want to call it, staying up late. I guess I'll do that when I'm done playing. But yeah, while I'm playing and I'm blessed enough to be playing, I try to maximize my potential.
Shay, a lot of things came together for the team last year, the success unparalleled. But it just seems like you're so consistent in what you do out there on the floor. Is that something that you're aware of, or you just go out and ball every night? Because you're playing both sides of the ball. I mean, you're one of the best steals guys in the NBA, but also one of the top scorers. That doesn't go together. You know that ever. Because you're either going to score the basketball in this league or you're going to play defense. it seems like you've made a commitment that I'm going to be, that type of player where I'm going to play on both ends. Is that something you focus on? I didn't really realize that you were that good of a defensive player until maybe the beginning of last year. When I just watched how you were always putting yourself in the right position. Some guys who score like you score over 30 a game, look, man, I'm going to take a couple of possessions off. I've never really seen you take a possession off defensively. What's the mindset there that balances your strong offensive game?
I want to win. And I think, like, being out on the floor, offensively, you try to look for mismatches. And defensively, you try to make sure that there are no mismatches. And I think for our team to be the best team that we can be, I cannot be a mismatch defensively out there. I have to be someone that can be trusted, be relied on, and something that I feel like I can excel at if I put my mind to it. And that's what I've come to over the past couple of years. That's something that I feel like I can still get better at in certain moments, being more aware and things like that. But I think all the champions need both sides of the ball. And the best players that have played this game that I've looked up to have played both sides of the ball. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, those guys have multiple defensive teams as well as all the All-Stars and MVPs and stuff like that. So yeah, it comes with it, if you ask me. The player I want to be, it comes with it.
Shai, Chris Paul was here a very brief period of time. I know he's very important to you. You stay in touch with him consistently.
Yeah.
As you look back, when he got traded, and this organization entrusted you with kind of the keys to the car to run the offense, from that moment, what were you fixated on and focused on to the present? Like, how did this all evolve as you reflect back on his influence on you and how you've grown from that and the work you've put in since?
Yeah, Chris was the first player that I was around that was very particular about the things like outside of basketball. So like he was the first person that I was around that ate a certain way, that made sure they were lifting a certain amount of times during the week. He would watch basketball games differently, like dissecting the games, not watching as a fan. And I think that kind of edge outside of the court is what makes him who he is as a player, along with his work and his skill set. I think that if anything, is what I've adopted from him the most, just to control the outside variables, so that when you get on the court, it's cut and dry. You know what you can do, you know what you will do. But all those other things you don't necessarily get taught growing up playing basketball. You get taught just go to the gym, shoot, and when you get in the game, shoot. You know what I mean? But no one teaches you should eat a certain way, you should work out a certain amount of times, and he was great with that.
Yeah, it's the marginal stuff that always seems to give you an edge, and the elite players focus on it. So much about this team has been learning through experiences, and as the leader of this team, you guys got some great postseason experience last year. You sweep New Orleans. You take Dallas to 6 games. For you, and going through that now, what can you guys take from that you can apply going forward so that you can accomplish the things that you ultimately want to accomplish?
Yeah, we accomplished a lot last year. But like you said, we didn't accomplish our ultimate goal. And we lost for a reason. They were a better team throughout the 6 games, and that's why they won. And I think there's always, especially in losses, there's always something to learn from. And that's where players and teams become who they become, because they lose, because they go through things, and they go through experiences. And I think everyone on the team looked in the mirror. We know we can get better at it. Now it's just about going out there and trying to be better.
Well, I know everybody here and everybody watching cannot wait to see you back out on the floor. Training camp starts tomorrow. I know you'll be well rested, apparently.
Yes, I will. Very well. Very, very well.
Get a good night's sleep.
Get a nice, healthy night's sleep. Ready for that first day.
Yeah. Thanks, fellas.
Sounds good, my man.
Thanks for stopping by. Have a good camp.
Thanks, Shai.
All right, fellas.
Thank you.
Hey, there are guys, and I've been blessed to be in the league 34 years covering it as a play-by-play guy, that you're honored, like, to cover, to be around, and that's one of them for certain. He's in a very elite class that I would hope that the fan base appreciates, because we've seen so many greats through the years wear Thunder uniforms. He is right at the top of that list and getting better, as we've just talked about.
This might just be a broadcaster thing, but if you have the opportunity to listen to Shai when he's asked questions, whether it's by us or whether by other media members after the games, he's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
He doesn't give you canned answers. He'll pause. He'll take time. He'll try to think through your question. He'll try to think through a thoughtful answer and give you something of substance. And you just don't get that with so many NBA players. And I think it just goes to show the type of player that he is. He's a person of substance. He's a player of substance. He's a leader of this team. He's a leader of this organization. Everybody has followed that lead, and it's led to success. And it makes you want to follow him in a lot of ways because of the type of person that he is.
Well, and as a fan, honestly, I was grateful to see how well he played individually in the Dallas series. The perception going in was Luka's a better player, and I think that Shai proved otherwise during that 6 games. And I understand his team didn't advance, but I think Shai and the way he carried himself in critical clutch moments in that series throughout became a force that I thought trumped Luka. I really did.
Well, I think he's really unique, and I've seen a lot of players, and he's very mature, and he's done a great job of really staying humble throughout some early, quick success. So
I get to see this
very,
firsthand.
very unique in it.
Here we go,
So,
the veteran move.
all right, so
Coming in.
This is the right.
that's how it is. Hey,
Trying to take your seat.
Can't wait to have you.
Alex, welcome, man. Michael Case, Chris Fisher.
Hey, Alex.
Royce, and of course, Matt Pinto.
This isn't a welcome first time. This is a welcome back to Oklahoma City, Alex Caruso. And I was just kind of looking back and looking at things of yours previously. And so it was September of 2018, correct?
17.
Is that 2017, that's right. September of 2017 when you were part of this Thunder organization.
Actually, you know what? I might have lied. It might have been 16.
I think
16, you're right.
I graduated
2016.
A&M 16 and then 16, 17, yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. So I don't have my
making
notes.
myself, I'm dating myself more.
Yeah,
and
no,
more, yeah,
we want to make it right. So when you think back to 2016 and that experience, and now coming back here, you're with the Thunder yet again. Over that period of time, what goes through your head now coming into camp with OKC?
Yeah, it's been a lot of growth. For me personally, kind of, obviously the basketball side speaks for itself, like how much I had to improve and get better. But, I think just the understanding of the NBA and then coming back here and seeing how the Thunder run the organization, how Sam does such a good job of connecting everybody. Mark and me have a great relationship, obviously. We've kept in touch, gone to dinner over the years when we've been in town together, so that's nice. But just seeing the level of detail and the conscious effort to, put the team first and make sure that the players are successful, it goes a long way. It goes a long way, and I'm excited to be back and be a part of it again.
Alex, what do you see before training camp opens in this roster, in the composition of people and players, and how you fit, just how you see it all coming together?
Yeah, I've always been a compliment. Whatever team I've been on from, high school to college, G League, NBA, and I don't think that changes. For me, it's about coming in and not messing anything up. Obviously, they have the recipe for success, and the player's talent speaks for himself. Coach's talent speaks for himself. Sam obviously does a great job. So for me, it's just about, fitting in, hitting the ground running, trying to get as accustomed to the organization's, daily routine as I can. And then obviously pushing myself and pushing my teammates to be the best we can.
Does it having that relationship prior with Mark and the Blue help you with that transition? Even though you're a veteran player, you could make that adjustment without having that kind of relationship with a previous organization. How does all of that help you really with a lot of the players that are already here? Even though you haven't played with them, you're bringing a wealth of experience. You got a lot of game. We all know about your defensive prowess, everything. How does that help you adjust to this team where it's at right now?
Yeah, it definitely makes it easier. All the things I just talked about how well everything's run and not messing anything up. A lot of that is the relationships that makes it easier, right? Like Sam's been here since I left. Mark obviously was with me and then is now here.
But a different roster, though.
Different roster of players, but seeing familiar faces, it might make it 10, 15, 20% easier to just show up and already have that comfortability, to be able and come in and have a conversation and not be worried about, what to say the right things. I can just come in and be myself because they know who I am, and y'all know the team's personality. those guys are very outgoing, very easy to get along with. So the few weeks that I've been here already, starting to build those relationships, and it made it simple for me to just come in and be about my work and be a professional.
Yeah, Alex, I wanted to ask you about, a lot of people often focus, when they talk about chemistry, they think about it on the offensive end. But I was thinking about it on the defensive end with your ability there. Now you playing with guys like Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, who really talented perimeter defender players. But what about like Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, and also the other Jaylin Williams, the charge-taking Jaylin Williams, the chemistry you build with those guys, kind of as like, I'm guarding this guy, but I'm going to let him go because I know you're going to be there to shot block. How do you build that sort of thing with those guys?
Yeah, just the reps. I think, I said it earlier, I'm a compliment player. Like I can figure out how to play basketball the right way with a certain group of people anywhere I've been, and I assume I'm going to continue to do that. So for me, I think the big thing I can add or maybe contribute is, being vocal. It's really easy for me, it comes naturally to talk and to be loud. And I've got to see some of that with some of the best communicators the game's ever seen, and LeBron James and Rajon Rondo, and countless others of older guys that I've played with. And it's a skill and it's a weapon to use, especially when you get against really good teams in high pressure environments, to be able to communicate and decipher things on the go. And then obviously, like you said, like getting the reps to where, even if you can't say it, you know what they're going to do and you know how they play. So excited just to build that trust and build that chemistry with the guys.
Nice.
Your defense is at such an elite level. It's so impactful. Do you feel like your offense gets slept on? And I know the work you've done there, it's beginning to show itself in the numbers. A career year, a season ago, shooting the three. How do you fit in offensively with this group and this system in your mind?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I'm saying about being a compliment player. I'm trying my best everywhere I've been to be a positive impact. And for me, that's about taking the right shots and being aggressive on second sight actions, being aggressive in transition. The places that, Chet, J-Dub, Shai, even some of the other guys, Lou and Cason, like places that they're not aggressive and the teams load up on them and have to get off the ball. Those are the places that I know I need to excel. And so I've really worked on that over the last, 3-4 years to become confident in that. And like you said, last year I had a great year, and hopefully I can continue and build on that.
Well, you've been more than a compliment player. You've been an impactful player. You've been a part of a championship team, and I know the Thunder are very much looking forward to having you get out there and get going in training camp starting tomorrow. So welcome back.
I'm excited to be here and get going. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Alex.
Have a good training camp.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Good to meet you. Yeah.
Good to meet you, man.
Thanks again.
Thanks, fellas. See you all around. Watch out. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so the rookie
You
had
sure we're going to let you sit down now?
Any other veterans want to come and take the microphone from you?
Dylan's looking behind him like somebody pulling a chair.
I hate to say it, but kind of get used to that. But that's okay. It's just how it is, man. It's going to change one day.
For sure.
Dillon Jones, welcome. Welcome to your first media day. Welcome to Oklahoma City. We've got an opportunity to talk to you a little bit over the draft.
Yep.
And you're very thoughtful, very well-spoken. But this has still got to be a little bit nerve-wracking for you going into your first NBA training camp. So what's the mindset coming in to this Thunder team coming off the season they just had?
Yeah, it's obviously exciting to be here. When you go through the process and things like you kind of, preparation eliminates all nerves you could possibly have. And I've just, I've kind of hung my hat on that my whole career, is just try to be the most prepared person. Obviously, being a rookie, I'm not going to have all the answers. But, I'm going to do what's got me here. And that's, be the hardest working guy, try to be the hardest working guy in the gym, and just try to lean on those things. And when you set that strong foundation for yourself, when things don't go your way, you know what you can look back to and what you can get back to. So that's just kind of been my mindset with it all. And, the nerves are kind of, we'll see how the first couple games go. But, the nerves start when you playing pickup and you get switched on the Hartenstein, or you got Lou Dort's guarding you. That's when the nerves, after that happens, then the nerves are gone. So being on a good team like this definitely does help it.
Yeah, I wouldn't like Lou Dort guard me either.
Seriously. What's that been like for you, playing with these guys, SGA? I'm sure it's been a little bit, maybe there's been a moment where it's been a little surreal to be like, man, I'm out here not just guarding SGA, but he's my teammate too.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's obviously it's a process of adjusting, but it is kind of like after when you first get on the court, it is kind of like you got to kind of have a pinch me moment at whatever moment that may be. And yeah, I just think like those moments, the little things that we have done already have kind of helped me.
You had an extraordinary career at Weber State.
Yeah.
I was fascinated by something you said during Summer League, and you led your team in scoring, assists, rebounds for multiple years, all conference. I mean, did it all collegiately. But you said, having been the man, I now have an understanding of how I need to compliment the man or the men in OKC. Can you speak into that a little bit and what you meant by what you said?
Is just try to keep the perspective. You know, when you talk, like you hear a lot of mid-major guys that have made the NBA, Dame, obviously from Weber, Ja Morant, CJ McCollum, you know, the list goes on. Hell, Chet Holmgren, you know, Jaylin Williams from mid-major programs, even Pods in Golden State. You know, it's just a trend now. And the biggest thing those guys have been able, like Dame loves to say, obviously, is that, you know, when you at a level like that, not only are you supposed to be a good player if you make it to the NBA, but you got to bring people along with you and make your team better. And that's all I got from that. And it was just the simple fact that what I had to be counted on to do night in and night out, not only for myself but for my team, you know, it helps you grow. It just gives you those reps. So when, you know, Shai is needing something or whatever, you know how to kind of fill in, just because when you was their guy in those situations, you knew what it would like. Oh, if I had this, I had that. It just kind of points you in the right direction. So never going to be perfect, but it definitely does help you get those reps for sure.
Dillon, how did the Summer League, we watched you play out in the Summer League in Las Vegas, did that help prepare you for that moment today and kind of calming your nerves and look, I know what to expect? You've already had a practice technically,
yeah,
you know, and then playing technically in NBA games out there in Las Vegas. How did that prepare you for what you're going to face tomorrow? Did it calm you down? Did it give you an inside look to what to expect?
I'll say yeah. Summer League, obviously, just like I always talk about preparation, I was able to get things on film. I was able to see different things. So now when I'm preparing for training camp or the games and stuff, I can see something and say, okay, this is what I should do better. This is what I got to adjust to. This is what I got to learn and what I don't have to learn. And, you know, a person like me, I kind of reflect off of information. I don't like just do things just because I want to do it. I kind of do it off the information that's been given to me. So the film and the experience that I got in Summer League is definitely going to help me in that experience. And obviously the NBA is going to be different from Summer League, but you'll take any reps that you can, and if you're doing it with the right intentions, it'll be able to help you put you in a good position.
Well, hopefully those Summer League reps help you out during training camp, and good luck
man.
When you got to switch on to Isaiah Hartenstein and Lou Dort's got you on the perimeter.
I got you.
Good luck in those.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Have a good camp.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Part of this year's draft class for Oklahoma City, and I believe we've got Usman Dieng.
Hey, Uz, how you doing, man? Good to have you.
And it is year number 3.
G League champion. Hello, in the house.
Tell him, Mike.
Welcome. Usman Dieng, the Oklahoma City Blue, is the reigning in G League defending champion. So congratulations on that, man.
Appreciate you.
We
Thank
watched you. We were all just right there with you guys, man, and that's a big moment too within itself, because you're still playing against NBA players, the whole environment, man. What was that experience like, winning that championship the way you did it?
It was a great experience. The whole player friend, because like you got to win. If you lose, you go home. So it was really a great experience. I learned a lot during this experience. Just making the right plays at the right moment. Like every play counts, every game counts, so that was nice.
Uz, you ooze skill. I mean, you've got a high level of skill in a body that can absolutely translate incredibly to the NBA game. What have you learned to this point you're excited to apply in your third season in terms of the time you've gotten on this level, the time you've spent in the G League as well?
Just compete every time, trying to play hard every time, and just play the right way. Play a good basketball. I worked a lot on my body this summer and still on my shot. So yeah, I think it's just like play hard, make open shots, and it will translate.
You know, it was, during Summer League, it was kind of remarkable that on a summer league team with rookies on it and a lot of young players. You were still the youngest player on the summer league team, and what we saw from you was kind of a new level of aggressiveness. You were trying to dunk on people a lot of times. Sometimes you made it, sometimes you didn't. But is that a focus for you to be a little more physical and aggressive in those situations?
Yeah, that was the main point of last year and even this summer. So like I said, I work on my body, gain weight, and yeah, just trying to be more aggressive, play hard every time, trying to compete.
So much about you in getting your playing time down in the G League has been about getting confidence. That seems to be the word that you use very often, the confidence to go down and work on your game. How important has it been for you to keep your confidence level up, to continue to grow your game, to work on the things that the Thunder want you to work on so that when you do get called up, you're ready to go?
It's been important. Like I said, in the G League, I was working a lot off the ball, even though I could have played more with the ball, but I was working on that because that's how I'm going to play with the Thunder. So that was important for me because I won't get the ball as much with the Thunder as I get it with the Blues. So yeah, it was really important, working off the ball, play hard on defense and on offense. So yeah.
How important is the familiarity you have with your teammates on this level, with the system, an opportunity to apply the learning now in Season 3?
You said what? Sorry.
No, just the familiarity you have with your surroundings, your teammates, the system, because this is now your 3rd season in it.
Yeah, we've been around a long time now. It's like a big family, so everybody know each other, everybody support each other, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good year.
Well, Us, good luck. Year number 3. We continue to watch your game. It continues to grow. It's growing in the right direction. You're getting good experience, and good luck during training camp that starts tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Have a good camp.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we had one Jaylin Williams.
What's up, y'all?
We had J-Dub. Now we got the other Jaylin Williams.
Yeah.
What's up? You're smiling.
We got Jay Will.
Yeah, I got to
surprise,
smile. I'm
surprise.
excited to be here.
If you weren't surprising, or weren't smiling, something would be wrong, right?
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely.
And how was your summer? Tell us about your summer, what you did, and how you got ready to get prepared for this year.
Yeah, I was in Miami for most of the summer, down there working out with my guys. A lot of workouts every week, eating right. Then I went to Toronto for a little bit, worked out with the guys, had some pickup, and then I've been here for the rest of the summer. Just playing pickup down here around the guys, getting to know AC, getting to know Hart, our rooks. Just down here working out. A lot of my summer's just been straight working out.
One of the things Caruso talked about, hold on, let me say that again. One of the things Alex Caruso talked about was how vocal he is. He's known to be a very vocal communicator on the court. It's obviously you're a very vocal communicator on the court. How does that sort of thing kind of work together when you get two guys that can be hyper vocal, either offensively or defensively?
Yeah, it helps. It helps for sure. When you're on the court and you have guys that are communicating your coverages or communicating where they're at or where the guy is, it helps everybody out. Like if I'm telling Caruso that I'm low man or there's a screen coming, it helps him out. And so when you have a lot of guys or guys on the court that are good communicators, it just makes the game easier.
Jay Will, if I recall, you have basketball camps in the summer.
Yeah.
I think I saw you just really having fun.
Yeah.
Talk about your basketball camps and the impact. I think it was in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And how much you enjoy that.
Yeah. I had 4 camps. Two in each day. Back at Arkansas, I had one in my hometown and I had one in Springdale, Arkansas. And thankfully, I had a great team around me, my girlfriend. I had my manager, Jenny, and a bunch of friends and family that were able to help me with the camp. And shout out to them, first off. My name was on the shirts. My name was on. They were there with my jerseys on, but without them, none of the camps would have happened. But giving back and going back and doing a camp was one of the biggest things that I wanted to do. I really made it a priority to go back to my high school, like the places that I grew up going around. A lot of those players, like the kids, they were from the same towns that I've grown up in. They've gone through the same Boys and Girls Clubs, played on the same travel basketball teams and things like that. But it was great. It was great giving back, and that's one of my favorite parts of the year, just being able to give that camp, and I'm excited to do it next year.
Jaylin, depth on the front line has expanded with the addition of Isaiah Hartenstein. Can you envision your role? Does it change at all? Do you view it in any different light in terms of the minutes you get when you're on the court and what you'll be looking to accomplish?
To me, honestly, the biggest goal is to win. Regardless of who it is, who's on the court, however many minutes I'm playing, whatever it is, I want to win. And, of course, I don't know anything about minutes. I don't know anything about rotations yet. We have yet to do a team practice, so I can't even make any comments on that. But I'm excited about adding Hart to the team. He's one of the best bigs in the league, great rebounder, great facilitator, great connector. I'm excited to learn from him, and I'm ready for our team to get better.
Where do you feel like you've added this offseason to your game?
Yep, for sure. I think my three-pointer has made another jump. Going into this offseason, one of my main priorities, talking to my trainers, was getting off that three-point shot faster. Knowing that for me to be on the court, I got to be able to spread the floor. I got to be able to make the lanes open for Shai, Lou, Dub, whoever's driving the ball. And for me to be able to hit down that shot on the outside, it just makes the game easier for them. So that was one of my main focuses for sure.
Jay, well, part of being a member of that front court is being down low, taking charges, stepping out. I don't think I've ever seen you, and for somebody who takes a lot of charges, I don't think I've ever seen you take a charge and not have a smile on your face after taking the charge, when most people, it would literally be a yard sale. It'd just be a big whole explosion down there. But you got a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken a charge and not been happy about the contact?
Yeah, of course when it's a block, when they call a block and not a charge. I don't like those ones, but I think I've maybe had, since I've been in the NBA, I think there's been like 2 or 3 charges that hurt me, where I had to take a little second to get up, knock the air out of me. But other than that, it's fun to take charges. We have a couple guys on the team that take charges, and it's kind of become a thing where it's like a game for us, who can take the most charges. And I know last year, me and Kenrich were tied, or it might have been my rookie year, we were tied for charges. And I took the charge that got past him, and I just laid on the ground and I pointed at him, like, and it was kind of just an inside thing. We're just competing with each other, and that's another way of making ourselves better.
We actually had a little draft last year. Michael, myself, Nick, and Paris. We predicted who between you, Kenrich, and Isaiah Joe would take the most charges. We need to follow up on that, Mike.
We do.
I don't know.
You know,
you were the heavy favorite.
Yeah, you were the favorite.
I think I won, but I don't know.
I think he won too, but you realize how important charges are.
Yeah.
You get the possession.
Yeah.
Unlike blocking somebody's shots where it's a 50-50 ball, they could get it back, you could get the ball back, but when you take a charge, man, it's like a killjoy. It stops the game, slaps a foul on that guy, you get the possession. I mean, it is really a huge part of the game. I think you've mastered in the early part of your career that I think other teams are saying, you know what, we need to start learning that more. Because everybody can't block shots like Chet, but you can take charges like Jay will, though.
Yeah, for sure. And like with the charge, the guy also gets a foul. They get a foul from it. In the same way that guards might drive to the rim and they're like thinking that Chet's down there, we can't go all the way down there, he's going to block my shot. They're thinking like, that number 6 is down there, and he might take a charge on me, and that's another foul. I might go on the bench, and it's just another way of protecting the rim.
Keep doing it, man, because it's a big part of the game today.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, my money's on. I'm not giving away my pick, but I got a lot of confidence in Jay Will.
It's a new season. It's 0-0 right
0-0.
Jay Will, good luck in training camp. Sorry,
appreciate
man.
y'all.
We love watching you play.
Good to see y'all, too.
Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good training camp.
Thank y'all.
And last but not least,
Kenny Hustle. Thank you, brother.
Kenny Hustle, come on in, man.
Hey, man, how y'all doing?
Hey, good.
We're doing all right. We're doing better now that you're here.
Hey, man, me too. Feel better to see y'all.
How you feeling? You
Feeling
had a little
good.
surgery?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. Rehab is coming along good, so I'm blessed.
It's just been 2 years in a row now, though, that you've had to have a procedure done. With a wrist?
No, this is my first procedure since college. So I've had a wrist surgery, like not last year, but the year before that.
The year before, okay.
So yeah.
So what's been the talk about? I got to go back to last because you're our last guy. So we're gonna grill you if it's okay.
It's all good.
Not personally.
No, it's all good.
Just team stuff. That kind of year you had. I just want to know what really turned the corner for y'all as a group, because man, you won a division title. That's tough to do, and one of the toughest divisions ever in the history of the game, where 3 teams had 55 plus wins. Well, 57 actually.
Yeah.
So, what really made the difference? You think is it something? I think a couple of guys said it was just consistency, and I want to know from you, because you're a thinker.
Yeah.
You watch the game, you study the game, you play the game.
Yeah. I think it was a number of reasons why we had success last year. I think one of the reasons was at the beginning of the year, every year, we sit down as a team with the coaching staff, and Yeah, we talk about all this. We talk about everything. We talk about how good we want to be. Talk about getting better every day. Everything that you've heard is what we talk about at the beginning of the year. I mean, before we start training camp. Another thing is I think the leadership, just from not myself, but from Shai. You know, I think Shai took a big step as far as being a leader last year. And you know, when you're great like that, I think people will follow that. People will follow that. They see, okay, this is what it takes to be great. This is what he's doing. This is what is expected of me. And so I think it was a combination of a lot of different things. And also our team, man, we had a amazing team. The chemistry was unmatched. Even on those games where we played bad or we took some L's, you never see anybody with their head down. Never see anybody complaining about points scored or playing time or anything. Just everybody was focused on getting better each and every game. So I know it's a long answer, but
no, that's a good answer.
That's kind of where I think it stems down from.
And that, you know, Kenrich, I was kind of thinking, you know, now, as you obviously know, you're one of the veterans on this team, and I'm sure this is going to be part of the message you kind of give the guys is now you don't get to take any of those 57 wins with you now.
Yeah, come on now.
and now you got to reset it. It goes back to 0-0. But you can also still apply a lot of those things that were successful last year. So how do you kind of find that balance of, like, you don't want to live in the past and try to just say we did it last year, so we'll do it again, but also apply forward some of those things that were good?
Yeah, I personally try not to harp on the past or last year or years before that because, like you said, it's a totally new team. We added some new pieces, and the competition is totally different. I mean, teams are different. But I think what stays the same is our core values and the stuff that we believe in. That's competing every day, every game, competing, playing together with all five, and pretty much just the core value of having that mentality of being 0-0 every time we step on the court. I think that's the most important thing that we kind of take away from.
And you're a student of the game in addition to what you bring both intangibly and tangibly, and they're both very almost visible in terms of the impact you have on your teammates and on what's going on in the Thunder culture.
Yes, sir.
So you add Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein, guys that have earned their stripes, have experience, bring different definitive skills into this foray of players.
Yes, sir.
So how does this fit in what you see and what's possible for this group?
Yeah, I think the thing about adding those guys is, like, they're going to fit in. I said this in the media. They're going to fit in right away. Like, it's going to be like those guys have been here for 4 or 5 years. The way their game fits, the way we play. You know, Isaiah is a very good screener, very good rebounder. He knows his role. AC is a very good defender, good at a little bit of everything, and he knows his role. You know what I mean? So, you know, adding to what we had last year, now it's about just being focused and coming in and like I said, the core values, hitting those every day, even at practice, man. And we have no choice but to get better.
Well, Kenrich, your role has been integral as well.
Yep.
And I know that this team and this organization has appreciated everything that you've done and the part that you've played and continue to play. So I assume that that's going to continue this coming season.
Yes,
and
sir.
we wish you the best of luck. Stay healthy.
Yes, sir.
Good luck in camp. And I know that you guys are looking forward to getting going tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Kenrich.
stopping by.
Appreciate it.
I'll take it.
Thanks. Well, we talk about Thunder culture. He's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And he and the guys that have been there from the ground level. I mean, he was a throw-in in a trade.
Yeah.
And he's been a huge part of what this team has built over the last couple of years. A team that we're going to see officially starting a week from today. On Monday, can you believe it, in San Antonio, as they're going to take on the Spurs. That's going to be a 7 o'clock tip time down in San Antonio in the heart of Texas. The first of 5 preseason games. The first one at Paycom Center will be 2 days later. That'll be on Wednesday against the Houston Rockets. A back-to-back in the preseason. The New Zealand Breakers will be the next day on the 10th. That'll also be here at Paycom Center. The final one, October 17th, against the Atlanta Hawks before you start to play for real. One other road game, as I kind of skipped over it, but it's the Denver Nuggets on October 15th. We're used to playing Denver a lot, but 5 preseason games, and then the regular season will start toward the latter part of October. But another successful media day here, guys. What's your guys' impressions, not only about today, but going into the season?
Well, I just like that all the guys had a really, and they haven't gotten, together yet, but it seems like the thought was consistent. Hard work. We know what we did last year, but we're prepared like we were this time last year. We're willing to work hard. The leadership in the locker room. It just seems like everything was very consistent from the guys that spoke today.
I felt an ease with what they all communicated. It seems that there's a level of comfort, which I think is terrific because there's continuity. When there's continuity and you have the overall skill this team possesses, the diversity, the versatility, and yet they all had that same singular focus and theme of we're going to get after it every day.
Yeah.
We know nothing's promised. We know, as Sam Presti said, there are no silver platters here that we're carrying forward. And you just love that sense and connectivity and unity in this group. And to a man, that's the message I got under the undercurrent of the words that were spoken.
Yeah, I really liked what Kenrich was just talking about there towards the end of, acknowledging and appreciating what was accomplished last season. But, he was quick to say, like, yep, that's all over with. And now it's back to it. And, there's just a competitive mindset. I thought the same thing you were saying, Mike, that the consistency of kind of the message from the whole team was just very straightforward and very thundery. I mean, they just sounded like Thunder players, even the new guys. Alex Caruso's got some Thunder DNA in his system. But Isaiah Hartenstein, when we heard from him when he was introduced for the first time, he was even dropping Thunder phrases on us. So, you can just kind of feel that stability, that consistency, continuity from the whole team. And clearly, like we all are, we're ready to get this thing going, but nobody is more ready than these guys.
Yeah, I got the feeling that they're all ready to get this thing going. They know what they did last year. They know that they've got more that they want to accomplish, and the hard work is going to get them there. And I get the sense that they're looking forward to tomorrow and getting going at training camp.
Well, I think they understand, it's 0-0, and they're climbing back up another hill, as all teams do around this time with that 82-game schedule, because, and you have to all be on the same page. And that's the problem with a lot of teams not being on the same page at training camp, and they're fighting the whole season to develop that chemistry.
They've had some run-up. A number of the guys said that. They've been around the last couple of weeks together, a lot of them, and yet they also have to know Mark Daigneault's bringing the fundamentals to day one of camp, as he shared with us. So it's building again from ground zero up. The difference is so many of these guys are familiar with what those fundamentals are about, and the two guys they add are fundamental in themselves in the approach that they take and how they show up between the lines. So this is really exciting. It really is.
All right, we ran over the preseason schedule. The start of the 2024-25 regular season is just a few short weeks away, and there's nothing like the excitement of Thunder basketball here at Paycom Center. Get your tickets today at OKCThunder.com/buy tickets. The home opener, October 27th against the Atlanta Hawks right here in this building. That's going to be a 6 o'clock start time. A Sunday start. Last year was, I believe it was against the Denver Nuggets. It was an early tip, but they're going to start the season on the road in Denver. That'll be a primetime game, another game in Chicago, and then at home for the season home opener on October 27th. I know all three of you can't wait.
Well, it's here, and it's really exciting too, because you look at the roster and you realize that, this is a good team, and they're doing some good things, and they're going to be fun to watch, and you want to watch them, folks.
All right, next time we talk to you will be on Monday. Matt, you'll be on the radio. Yep. Michael, you and I will be calling that game. That game is going to be streamed.
Yeah, with Nick in Paris.
And we're going to get back on the call. Royce, we're going to be seeing you all season long.
Right.
All right, so for Royce Young, Matt Pinto, Michael Cage, I'm Chris Fisher. Thank you all for watching here on Media Day 2024-2025. We got a long season to look forward to, and it all gets started tomorrow for the players. For us, first preseason game will be a week from today on Monday. We'll talk to you then.